Get promos and discounts from Filipino startups. Check out our partners at the description. Jaggy Gangat is founder and CEO at Lycan Motorcycles. Hello, Jaggy. Welcome to Startup Podcast PH. We're very happy to have you here. How are you? Kamusta? Kamusta?
Hello, Johnny, and good evening, and thanks for having me. It's nice to be on a podcast about startups.
Yeah. Actually, I'm very excited to know more about you, Jaggy, and to learn more about Lycan Motorcycles. It's in the EV or electric vehicle space. So you're kind of producing and selling electric motorcycles, electric-based motorcycles. But I'll have you do the introduction, Jaggy. So, ano nga ba ang Lycan Motorcycles?
Okay, well, Lycan Motorcycles is an electric vehicle company based here in Metro Manila. So we design and develop and manufacture and produce and distribute electric vehicles for the commercial market. So kasi diba, if you say EV, usually nasa public sector yan, nasa public transportation. But what we do is for the commercial and the private markets. So aside from electric vehicles, we are also currently developing our own battery infrastructure. Para sa ganun, we are able to provide our users, our customers, and a lot of EV motorcycles the opportunity to go longer distances. Kasi pag sinabi mong electric vehicle, number one concern dyan is range, di ba? So since gusto namin na talagang pang Philippine loop, so to speak, electric vehicles namin, so we want to build up those infrastructures as well. So aside from that, we're aiming for to be in very smart experience for everyone using Internet of Things. Yeah, it's very soon. Really soon. Artificial intelligence.
Yes, very interesting ang EVs So actually you mentioned nga na it can be like in the public sector, in the private sector. Actually very diverse ang possible models nito and how EVs are being introduced and implemented sa iba't ibang bansa on how they are kumbaga introduced to the market. Kumbaga may models na EVs are sold for the consumers for like daily use, for like everyday use. Meron din namang models na parang these are handled by possibly the government and para siyang yung mga sharing, yung mga vehicle sharing, vehicles na pwede mong gamitin. And then, when you use them, i-return mo din. Pero not necessarily for you. Meron ding mga gumagamit ng EVs for like B2B, on a B2B aspect. Pero I have many questions and I also want to ask later on, paano ka nga ba napunta sa EV space? But pag-usapan muna natin ang EV in itself, electric vehicle. So, what really are electric vehicles, especially electric motorcycles, and how do they specifically differ from like the traditional vehicles, traditional motorcycles, for example?
Right, that's a good question. So traditional motorcycles or traditional vehicles are usually run by gasoline. So they are internal combustion. They use internal combustion engines. But pero for electric vehicles, so what we use are batteries and an electric motor to propel the vehicle forward. So some of the advantages of electric vehicles, number one is cost reduction, cost efficiency. So basically, ang presyo ng gas ngayon is napakataas. But you can get the same range or the same amount for distance traveled at a very low cost. Siyempre, marami nagsasabi, and even dahil medyo bago pa ang electric vehicles, medyo mataas ang upfront cost because of the materials and the supplies, diba? Pero over the long run, mas malaki ang efficiency in terms of savings. Now, another is the power. Well, depende yan, syempre, with the various electric vehicle manufacturers, but there are some electric vehicles na may ina lang na pang barangay or pang within short distances lang. But there are also others that are very high powered, powerful, and high for long distances. So within the Philippines, the Philippines is slowly shifting and transitioning to electric vehicles. It's not hindi siya ganun kabilis, unlike in other countries in the Southeast Asian arena, but we're getting there. So it's a good thing to see that a lot of people are already adopting to electric vehicles. Ang concern is yung infrastructures.
Yeah. How about naman yung parang environmental aspect na to, like on the sustainability aspect? So how does maybe like the use of EVs differ from like the fuel-based or the traditional vehicles that we are used to using?
Okay, that's a good question also. So the most obvious one is hindi siya nag-emit, electric vehicles don't emit CO2 emissions. So hindi siya nakakadagdag sa greenhouse gases and sa global warming and sa greenhouse effect. So that is good. Okay, so it doesn't emit smoke and nakaka-reduce din siya. Very high reduction in noise pollution. So I'm sure na ikaw din, Jenny, na you've heard a lot of mga gas-powered motorcycles na napakaingay. Di ba? Yung mga
Yeah.
maharurot. Parang sakit sa tenga. But with
Sobra,
electric
even
vehicle,
inside villages.
yeah, di ba? So, but with electric vehicles, it's very quiet. Now, one
Mm,
of the concerns ng mga tao is it being it too quiet? Is it a dangerous thing? Well, of course, there are a lot of pros and cons pa naman. But with the right drivers, with the right discipline in terms of driving, so ma-offset naman yung biging quietness niya. But overall, socially, social perspective, it helps reduce a lot of pollutions in the environment. So whether it be emissions to noise. And well, the second thing is, which is not the too obvious, is the efficiency. So doon nakaka-help in terms of sustaining our environment. In terms of efficiency, let's say for every kilometer an internal combustion engine vehicle drives, the same distance driven by an electric vehicle emits just very, very, very little pollution in the overall grand sense of things. The third one is kalimutan ko. The third one is the source of power. So in terms of still combustion engines, where we gather or where we generate these these fuels are from fossil fuels, or sometimes natural gas, so on, and coal. I don't know, coal. Diba? But with electric vehicles, with the right efficiency, I mean, with the right systems, with the right governance, we can harvest free energy, basically. So we don't have to
yeah.
rely always on grid power. Nagko-consume din ang coal. But if we are able to build these infrastructures for the long run, then we can harvest free energy for it.
Yeah, ang ganda ng ng discussion na to kasi actually like in introducing EVs, a new technology or actually like an alternative way on running the traditional automotives. Parang merong aspects ng ayun nga cost efficiency, yung cost niya basically, yung sustainability, and third yung like overall efficiency, like yung paggamit nga ng resources ng natural ng resources ano. So I think, and especially when you introduce a new technology, as you said nga kanina, na medyo wala pang infrastructure, so you're still building it on a larger aspect. Ano? So siguro doon din nanggagaling yung larger cost nito somehow because bago pa lang naman yung tech. Para siyang yung mga tawag dito, solar
Panels.
panels. So like in the long run, possibly mas cost efficient siya, and also since you're getting like free renewable energy. Pero since kulang pa yung like manufacturing kumbaga infrastructure ng bansa or actually ng buong mundo, and infrastructure of installing, yung overall support sa ganitong industriya ano. So maybe yun din yung dahilan kaya medyo mataas-taas pa yung cost niya at the first place. But I just want to ask ano, so parang maraming different technologies ang nagta-transition into electricity, into like a renewable energy source, but you focused on motorcycles. So bakit pala motorcycles?
Well, I mean, it's a journey. Okay, so number one, kasi I've had a passion for motorcycles talaga. No? Do you ride, Jen? Have you ever ridden a motorcycle?
I have a license actually na pwede for motorcycles pero I haven't tried riding a motorcycle.
Yeah. Well, the feeling kasi you get when you ride, especially na you're riding for for leisure and overall riding, it's a very fun and exciting experience. And then overall, the design of it, the design of motorcycles, how they are built, how they are designed, they're very beautiful machines. So putting that aside, so the reason why we started with motorcycles is because, syempre, it's a journey. So di naman kami pwede, let's say, mag-jump into electric cars without first mastering the two wheels. Diba? So hopefully, maybe once we get to master and be good at what we do with electric motorcycles, then we can soon dive into four-wheelers, into cars, stuff like that. Well, but that is in the long run. So those are some of the reasons. And the electric car market, it's getting saturated. I mean, kahit nag-start pa lang siya, you see a lot of players here in the Philippines na pumapasok
Yeah.
that's entering the Philippines. So it's a very tight competition. But with electric motorcycles, it's not as saturated, so to speak.
Yeah, actually ang sexy nga pakinggan ng electric motorcycles eh. Kasi lalo na ngayon sa Pilipinas ano, I mean uso na at pauso pa ang gumagamit ng mga motor ano, I mean, of course meron tayong mga problems minsan sa mga motorcycle riders ano, pero that's a different topic ano. Pero like if we somehow help, I mean if you somehow help this industry evolve yung motorcycle riding by introducing electric vehicles, I think overall ma-introduce niya yung the motorcycle industry. And I saw sa inyong website ano, and actually I did some research on Lycan na meron kayong mga different EV or different motorcycle models na ini-introduce sa market. So can we know more about these motorcycle models that you currently have? So are they short range? Or basically are they like yung traditional but electric ang nagpa-power? So ano nga ba talaga exactly itong mga motorcycles ni Lycan?
Okay, sure. So the first model that we have launched into the market is the Atlas 2 standard. So it's a stand-up electric scooter. So it's not your typical stand-up scooter. So to speak, kasi it's bigger. It has unique design, and its power is not it has really good power. So hindi siya yung for short distances lang. It's really meant for long distances. So in terms of power, the speeds can reach up to 100 kilometers per hour. Pero syempre, for the consumer market, that model kasi is intended for the consumer market. So we are limiting it only to siguro 60 kilometers for the safety of everyone. But one of the things that people like about it when we did our test ride is yung overall comfort in terms of riding. So kahit nakatayo, so even while you're standing, you don't feel much the fatigue when riding. Now, the second model that we are developing and we are entering for pre-commercialization is the Atlas 2 Pro. Now, the Atlas 2 Pro is also a stand-up scooter, but it's not for the consumer market. It's intended for professionals in a way that is used for utilities like operations, disaster response, medical emergencies, for patrol and security. So basically, our market here are the government, non-profit organizations, government. So diba, the reason why we developed it is, let's say, for instance, during in times of emergencies, in times of medical emergencies, minsan nasa stuck sa traffic ang mga ambulances. And it's a matter of minutes lang to save a life. So what the purpose of the Atlas 2 Pro is not to replace ambulances, but to act as an auxiliary vehicle. Let's say 30 minutes away yung patient. So alam natin ang stuck sa traffic yung ambulance. So the Atlas 2 Pro can be deployed para to navigate traffic faster and to provide basic first aid. To make sure that when the ambulance arrives, the patient is still alive. So mga ganon. So it is also applicable for patrol, security, or enforcement. Yan, para sa gabi, hindi siya ganun kaingay. And tahimik lang siya. So it's very soft. And it is highly customizable. So each sector, either for emergency, for disaster, for patrol, etc., it can be tailored to fit their specific needs, especially for halimbawa sa mga medical, if they need to bring oxygen tanks on board, pwede. So that's one. Now, the third one is the Lycan G6, which is a big bike. So this is a big bike electric vehicle that is intended not for consumer markets, for leisure purposes. So, syempre, they want to also to provide them with the experience na laki ng electric vehicle, which is something not commonly seen here in the things. But the fourth one, pero which is still in development, is the Lycan Shift. So dito naman yung traditional na nakaupo na scooter. So this is for the everyday riders. So those are some of the electric vehicle models that we have. Hopefully na ma-launch lahat yan within this year.
Yes, but ang galing no na parang each model has a particular market segment na kumbaga tinatakil. May for consumer use, may for use by possibly like the government, like or like for medical purposes. Actually, ang ganda nga no na if like police cars, yung mga police vehicles ay electric, kumbaga EV na no, electric powered na no. So as you said nga sa gabi hindi sila maingay and actually kumbaga mas cost efficient pa. Question lang about its manufacturing. So are these locally manufactured?
Yes, majority of our electric vehicles per unit is manufactured here in the Philippines. So what we do is we manufacture the frame, some of the components and the body panels, except for the battery cells and the motor itself. Kasi we don't have yet the capacity to do our own. So, pero we outsource yung lithium-ion cells. Okay, so then we have our own proprietary designs para maging swappable siya. Now, our batteries or battery packs, the same battery pack model can be used across all of our electric vehicles. So, kumbaga, if you're using the standard scooter, tas meron ka ring big bike, you can easily switch between the battery between those. So that is also part of our plan dun sa battery charging and swapping station namin. So all of the Lycan electric vehicles would use the same battery para, the same
Yeah.
approach.
Speaking about the battery pala, so can we know more about this? First of all, I'm not that familiar kasi with EVs and its batteries. So like, pwede bang malaman like yung specifics na charging nito and like, can we charge it like in our houses like saksak lang sa outlet? So ano ba exactly yung pag-charge ng mga EVs na ito?
All right. Sige, that's good. So, our electric vehicles they can be charged at home. So, pwede ka mag-charge sa saksak mo electric vehicle. Then you can charge. Now, our electric vehicles kasi, they can accommodate multiple battery packs. So, ang standard is when you purchase a vehicle, one battery pack lang. Diba? Pero it can accommodate up to 3, up to 6, up to 9. So, para if you want longer distances, marami ka malalagay battery. And then, so if you want to charge at home, para makatipid, pwede naman. Kasi one battery pack would only consume around 1 kilowatt hour or nasa around 12 pesos lang ang charging nun. So one battery pack depende sa vehicle na gamit mo. Pero it can run up around 70 kilometers. So isipin mo 12 pesos to around 70 kilometers, parang Fairview to Moa, pabalik. So pabalik ka na, not just 12 pesos.
Mura yun mura yun. Super mura nun
Yeah, so pwede rin mag-swap siya once we have our battery stations already. You can easily swap them para hindi mo na charge.
So mag-i-install din kayo, mag-de-deploy din kayo mag-de-deploy pa ng charging stations or ng battery stations all over like for example Metro Manila.
Yeah. Yes. So
it's battery swapping stations.
Battery swapping and charging. So with our battery station, yung non-Lycan electric vehicles can use it to charge. So hindi namin siya nililimit sa Lycan lang. Pero ang swapping would be exclusive to Lycan users.
Yeah, and here's the question kasi ito yung narinig kong problems ng ibang EVs, especially like in deploying yung infrastructure nga. Kasi for example, all your stations are in Metro Manila. I mean, all your battery stations or your charging stations are in Metro Manila. Pero you have to travel like in provinces, for example, in Cagayan or in Baguio. So, how about in Lycan Motorcycles? Of course, ayun nga, pwede naman i-charge with by our own Pero how do you see deploying the overall infrastructure of Lycan Motorcycles? And yung sales ba nito ay all over the country?
Okay, that's a very good question. So, kasi, just to give you a backstory. So, last January, the entire Lycan team, we went on a road tour around the Philippines. So, punta kami from Manila, punta kami ng Batangas, punta kami ng Aklan, punta kami ng Kalibo, ng Iloilo, and even ng Cebu hanggang sa Cagayan de Oro. Lahat yun by land and by sea using our electric vehicles. So imagine mo gano'n talaga yun, di ba?
Saya nun
Yeah, masaya. So nakakapagod kasi we had to ride both ferries multiple times. So nag-roro kami.
Yeah.
So during our trip, syempre, wala pa namang infrastructures, but charge kami sa mga restaurants, sa mga canteen, karinderya, coffee shops. Yeah. So nakita namin firsthand yung problems. We saw the problems of let's say if you want to go long distances. So, to address that, because we have experienced it firsthand, may one time nga umakyat kami ng bundok tapos nabusag kami lahat ng battery. Tapos na-stuck kami dun sa may papunta ng Barotac. So, na-stuck kami dun. So, buti may tindahan na pinayagan kami charge. So those are some of the instances where a battery infrastructure is needed. Now, with our plans for our battery stations, what best way to deploy them is by helping also yung mga small businesses. Yung mga kagaya nun, mga karinderya. Diba? So basically, we will put our battery stations at their place. Kasi number one, it would provide them with additional revenues, additional income. Pangalawa, it would give them additional customers. So halimbawa, you own a restaurant or a cafe, coffee shop, and then may pupunta sa'yo para mag-charge. So habang nag-charge sila, saan sila kakain?
Yeah.
sa restaurant po. So that way, we don't have to buy real estate. So what we do is we just partner with them, we help them. Sige, share tayo ng profits, share tayo ng revenues, bayad lahat ng kuryente, ng bills, ng ng battery station. And it's a win-win for everyone. No? So
Yeah,
that's how we plan.
amazing. Yeah, para siyang yung mga gas station ng mga bus and actually para siyang yung mga stopover actually puwede nga dun sa mga stopover areas din ng mga bus ano,
Mhm.
para andun na lahat-lahat. Mag-stop dun, mag-charge, bibili ng pasalubong, kakain, so andun na lahat-lahat.
Correct.
By the way, gaano pala ba katagal i-charge ang EV? Like for example, to use it for a certain distance?
Okay. So it depends on the type of charger at kung gaano kabilis ang charger. Kasi we have different amperes or yung discharge ng electricity papunta sa battery. So let's say ang standard is what we have is a 10 ampere charger. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. Pero usually the 10 ampere charger usually from 0 to 80% you can already charge around 30 minutes. Using
Oh,
our
mabilis lang,
battery.
mabilis,
Bilis
mabilis.
lang. Pero so that is per battery pa. So if pupunuin mo siya, pwedeng mabot ng 45 minutes. Pero if you are to use your battery station or charging station ng Lycan, mas mabilis yun. So it can be around 15-20 minutes of charging. So
Hmm.
enough for you to eat, enough for you to buy coffee, when they put chikahan. So yeah.
Yeah, actually mabilis lang ano, and tsaka parang yun naman yung normal time para huminto, para huminto at mag-stretch ano. So, I
Mhm.
think that's also ideal. Before we go sa stories ano behind Lycan, how about pala the price ranges lang of the motorcycles para lang may idea baka may interested na bumili sa ating mga listeners ano. So, ano ba yung price ranges ng mga electric motorcycles ni Lycan?
Okay. So our Atlas 2 standard is 85,000 pesos SRP. So currently, that is because we have only low volume capacity. But once we finish and we put up our production facility, na hopefully matapos siya by June or July, yeah, we can lower the price down kasi we have more capacity to build. So hopefully, now fingers crossed. From 85,000, we can bring it down to 60,000 pesos or even
Oh,
55,000 pesos. So hopefully, depende pa rin yan, syempre sa volume na ipoproduce. So that is one. So for the Atlas 2 Pro, well, I can't, per inquiry kasi ang price
yeah,
nun. But
yeah. Okay.
it's still fairly affordable. Pero yung G6, so wala pa kaming final price for it, pero we are targeting it, yung big bike, so we are targeting it to be less than 200,000 pesos. So we're
Hmm.
trying to make all of our vehicles affordable para more Filipinos can enjoy Filipino-made electric vehicles. Pero syempre, we need help.
Hmm.
We need, the volume para mapababa pa natin price.
Yeah, economies of scale ano. Pero actually very
Correct.
affordable and actually very competitive itong prices pala ni Lycan, 55,000 to 80,000. Actually that's very kumbaga attractive na rin, sa masa ano na kumbaga nag-iipon for a motorcycle. So, I think very good alternative din, very good kumbaga option din ano, na imbes na to buy like the traditional fuel-based motorcycles, why not consider Lycan electric motorcycles? Ayun. So, puntahan naman natin ang stories behind Lycan ano. So, how nga ba in the first place did you start a founder? How in the first place did you start all of this? So, maybe pakuwento ng iyong background, Jaggy. I mean, konting background and how did you jump into starting this business, into starting the electric motorcycle business?
Okay. So that's a good question. So I started my entrepreneurial journey siguro high school pa lang, late high school.
Hmm.
And then college, kasi ayun, I was already doing business. May freelance, nag-freelance na ako as a freelance photographer and filmmaker that time.
Oh.
Now, so even then, nagbebenta rin ako ng mga yung vape products. Yan,
Oh.
so may 100% markup ko. Kaya ang daming bumibili sa school sa UST ang college.
Oh,
So
okay.
so dun din talaga nag-start ang entrepreneurial na journey ko. And then I dropped out of college of last sem ko na for thesis, then drop out ako pursue yung company that I already had back then. Meron akong company kasi business na meron akong employees, tapos ako nasa school pa, nag-aaral ako. So I dropped it and focused on that business. So that business was a media production company. And then throughout the years, nag-evolve siya. Nag-evolve. Ang una kong startup was an educational technology startup,
Oh.
EduTech. So we were providing online courses. We invited mga professionals, mga experts in a certain topic and film them, and then we sell the courses. So yun sana I mean, nakita namin kasi yung projection na maybe the Philippines could be, could adapt to online learning. So that was 2019. So dahil na hindi kinaya nung operating costs namin yung business, we had to close it down. Tapos hindi rin kami nakakuha ng much investments from it. And then 2020, like pandemic, so everyone now was doing online classes. So sayang po, siguro
Oh.
naka-survive lang kami ng 1 year pa. We could have made it.
Mm.
So and then during the pandemic 2020, Lycan kasi was founded in 2020. And so during the pandemic, I was trying to find ways to see how can I make a bigger impact here in the Philippines. And during the lockdowns, sino ba ang nasa kalsada?
Frontliner ang mga delivery
Delivery,
riders natin.
Riders, correct. So, and then I thought na ito yung mga motorcycles, they are very resilient. Sila yung pumapasada even during a pandemic to deliver goods, diba? And then I thought, bakit nga ba walang Filipino-made na motorcycle here in the Philippines? So I researched, so wala. So, and because of, doon na nag-spark yung idea na, okay, my love for motorcycles, for design, and that, doon na siya nag-make. So, that is where Lycan started. Pero we didn't begin developing and designing our own motorcycles until late 2021. Kasi to enter the motorcycle market, ang ginawa muna namin is we customize existing motorcycles. So nagko-customize kami for us to understand, for me to learn more about the ins and outs of motorcycles. So once, and that way, yung mga clients namin, yun ang nagpa-fund ng research and development namin. So walang out of pocket, capital. So any profits we get, bubuhos namin sa R&D para ma-design kapag develop na sarili namin motorcycle. And then, yun na yan. So we started with internal combustion engines kasi we were still learning more about electric vehicles. And then, up to 2022, 2023, 2034. Yun na yung naging pattern.
Yeah, but actually what you said kanina hit me also. Parang bakit nga ba walang local brand or local manufacturer or local brand ng motorcycles? And now actually si Lycan pa nga ay electric vehicle motorcycles So ang ganda makakita na may mga umuusbong ng mga locally branded na not just vehicles but actually electric vehicles So actually isa yan sa mga goal din ng Startup Podcast na sana dumami pa ang ma-inspire natin mga Filipino entrepreneurs para dumami pa ang mga local brands natin, mga local businesses and local companies natin. How about yung team pala behind Lycan? So of course hindi ka lang mag-isa dito And so who are the team behind Lycan and lahat ba kayo ay may love for motorcycles to begin with?
Siguro, well, to answer your last question, hindi lahat. Pero we have our own strengths in terms of making it happen. So I have two co-founders. So my co-founder is also my wife. She is the chief operating officer. So she's an expert in operations and project and program managing. And then my other co-founder is chief technology officer. So siya yung develop ng mga program software to make our vehicles smart. So we get that infrastructure smart. And then behind us, we have teams of designers, engineers, and yung mga makers, mga builders. So that makes up. And then meron din yung mga operations for administration, for admin side. So that is the team behind it, like that.
Yeah, on a business perspective naman, kasi very, very complex si Lycan Motorcycles kasi it's in the EV space. I mean, because in the Philippines right now, ang mga usong startups yung mga I mean, medyo yung mga digitalization, ganyan. Actually, gustong-gusto ko yung mga startups na may physical, tangible thing na minamanufacture and binebenta. Kasi kumbaga, it's very unique and kumbaga, for me, it's more challenging actually to be in this space. I'm not that sure, pero can you speak more about that? I mean, how is the story, kumbaga, how is the journey of Lycan Motorcycles as a business? Ano ba yung parang mga naging challenges na dinaanan na to in terms of manufacturing, maybe in capital building, in distribution? So maybe pa-share lang ng ilan sa mga personal experiences as an entrepreneur sa pag-navigate dito sa EV space, sa EV motorcycle space actually.
Okay, sige. The hardware space is very complex. It's very complicated. nung una, I thought na kapag makapag-design lang kami ng motorcycle, na kapag build kami ng prototype, ayan na, tuloy-tuloy na that we would be, yeah, that we would be able to sell. But in reality, it's not. So, yung akala ko before na from idea to prototyping a motorcycle model na ready for production, akala ko 1 to 10 lang yan. So nung mabot na kami sa 8, sa rating, sa level na 8, yun ko na-realize na hindi lang pala 1 to 10 ang kailangan tingnan. It's 1 to 1,000. Kasi designing a motorcycle and building a motorcycle is just like very, very, very small part of the entire ecosystem of the entire company in the entire industry. You have a lot to consider. And then one of the biggest challenges, syempre, is ang dami naming errors, ang dami naming mistakes na nagawa. So we spent, let's say, a lot of money building this type of design. So, ano yun, hard labor yun. So, and then after a while, ma-realize namin na it's not fit for production. It's not fit for, may mali sa engineering, may mali sa design, may mali sa aerodynamics or whatsoever, sa efficiency. So we had to scratch it and then, we had to scrap that and then build a new one, basically. So ang daming trials and errors, and most of the time, I don't know what I am doing. I don't know how hard it is. Parang sinasabi ko lang sa sarili ko na, I'm making a motorcycle, making an electric vehicle company, how hard can it be? Diba? So kahit na alam kong napakahirap na, so I'm just, na naman thinking ko back sa ganun, para sa ganun na nagiging, in a way, ignorant ako sa difficulty. So dun lumalabas yung stubbornness ko. And of course, it's not for many years we've been burning a lot of capital. So palabas ng pera parade. So thankfully naman we have investors, angel investors who support us. These angel investors are not the big investors, the traditional ones, but they are your ordinary Filipinos who are helping us, who believe in what we are doing, and then who are very supportive of what we do. So because of them, we're able to take one step at a time. And, given that journey. So right now, dahil medyo kahit paano, let's say now, we're not experts yet in motorcycle building, but we have already a good idea, good grasp to make a motorcycle. Now, ang next the next thing that na masabi ko na I don't know what I am doing is production. So, so now we're building up our production facility, and then we're also building our battery network infrastructure. So those are some of the things that I have, what I can say, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm learning along the way. So, so I'm expecting na marami pang magiging trials and error, but we're getting there.
Yeah, but learning while you're doing pero medyo kasi maybe like for a new listener parang medyo parang nakakatakot din because this is like a very complicated space pero I think it's still kumbaga it's still true naman na it's still a business and you're an entrepreneur and you just do and learn. Kumbaga launch and revise and launch and revise. But good thing you mentioned yung parang design for manufacturing or design for production. So I actually have an engineering background. I'm actually from industrial engineering and very close sa puso ko ito. Kumbaga you don't just design for like the features, for like first of all, especially aesthetics. Second, yung like yung aerodynamics nga possibly, or yung overall use, yung lightweightness or yung durability ng product. But also we have to keep in mind na in the long run, if we're gonna make this like into a scaled business, we have to manufacture many times. So kasama rin actually sa pag-design ng, let's say, motorcycle nga, yung design for ease or kumbaga design for multiple production So do you have an engineer kumbaga in your team? Do you have like someone with like an engineering background pala in the team? I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, we have naman. So most of our engineers, may mga engineers kami before na that who came and go because we had, a huge setback before. Now we had to let go of all of our designers and engineers. So we picked up last year. So, and then, so a lot of our engineers then are, we collaborate with them as consultants. So yung mga consultants kami who help us. And then marami din sa team na nagko-contribute based on their experiences sa manufacturing, sa production, sa fabrication. So yan, lahat naman yung nag-chip in para makapag-design kami ng efficient na production workflow, yung mga kailangan step by step, yung assembly line, and designing for mass production.
Yeah, this is actually very exciting to hear ano kasi ayun nga in the Philippines actually isa kayo sa mga hindi mo pioneering ano pero isa kayo sa mga kumbaga nagte-take ng challenge to actually have a good production space, a good production capability sa Pilipinas. Kasi ayun nga hindi uso, first of all hindi uso ang
Mm.
locally manufactured motorcycles or actually vehicles sa Pilipinas. And second, hindi uso actually ang manufacturing in general sa Pilipinas eh. So
Mm.
very
Correct.
bold, kumbaga very bold step to take ito eh, yung kumbaga magkaroon ang Pilipinas ng company that's actually designing, producing, and distributing electric motorcycles. So, I have to give my saludo ano sa iyong entrepreneurial journey and taking on this space. Now, I want to ask you that Jaggy. So, what keeps you motivated or what keeps you driven kumbaga in this journey? You've been an entrepreneur na from back from college pero until now so what keeps you driven especially now you're building Lycan motorcycles?
Well, because I think, and I believe a lot of entrepreneurs can also relate that being an entrepreneur is both a gift and a curse. So it's a gift because you have the creativity thing and the drive and the innovation, the natural drive. Now you don't have to motivate yourself because you're driven by a fact of trying to achieve something. You're driven by a fact that you want to leave a legacy behind. So I think that's also one of the things that drives me and motivates me. Na I keep asking myself now, oh, Jaggy, if I die today, how many lives will I have impacted? Diba? So I want, in the future, in the time na, if I die of old age, I want to have impacted millions of lives, maybe directly, maybe indirectly, or at least try to create a dent in the history of the Philippines that someone did something less ambitious as this one. Diba? So that's it. Kaya nasabi mo, it's not every day that someone takes up this mantle of producing vehicles. Kasi the easier route, is importing and then distributing and selling. Pero
Actually, yeah.
manufacturing, it's very difficult. And siguro ang inisip ko na lang kasi na in the future, let's say what happens if we master vehicle design and development. We can do a lot of things. We can go outside of motorcycles. And then what if we master manufacturing? We can mass produce anything that we want. But so yun lang naman naisip ko na this curse of trying to create something out of nothing can be easily delivered to serve a lot of people in the future.
Yeah, that's a very good answer. I mean, actually, it's also a blessing and a curse, not just being an entrepreneur, but also being in the EV manufacturing and distribution space. Kasi siguro curse like kayo I mean, it's very challenging to be pioneers in this space, but it's also a blessing kasi parang siyang high risk, high reward as you've said nga na kayo yung isa sa mga una, kayo isa sa mga actually alone na in this space maybe, pero when you reap all the benefits, when you become experts, of course you gain benefits as a company, pero andun din yung parang benefit for the Filipino people kasi ang laki ng naitulong nyo sa motorcycle industry and actually for the masang Filipino. Ayun. So, ano nga pala ba ang future plans pa for Lycan? So, ano ba ang plans nyo for the models? How are you further planning to distribute the motorcycle? So, can we know lang the future plans for Lycan motorcycles?
Okay. So in terms of our products, so aside from the 4 models that I have mentioned, hopefully we get to release this year. We already have concepts and ideas and designs for next year's models. So we have around 5 models, something that a lot of people would be shocked to see if we are able to become successful in this. They are very unique types of vehicles. Aside from motorcycles, we have also in the future, so going to give it 10 years, 8 to 10 years from now, we also have plans to begin developing cars, electric cars. Na hindi siya yung car na pang malita, as in yung parang, let's say, mga sedan for everyday use. So those are some of the plans that we have. But in coming back to the present times, our plan is once we have completed our battery station, and we begin deploying them. After our pilot testing, we begin deploying them para magkaroon tayo ng network of battery charging and swapping. So that way it would be easier for everyone to ride anywhere where they want to go. Aside from that is our production facility, which hopefully this year, by June or July, we get to begin our production. Now, this production facility maliit lang siya. So we're not planning to build one giant factory, pero rather I want to decentralize our factory para even sa Visayas, even
Mm.
sa Mindanao,
Oh.
meron yan. Para hindi na, I mean, we are able to open more jobs. We are able to distribute more products closer to the market. Kasi what we have learned is that every province, every region, they have different possibilities na hindi lang na we can develop very unique, very specialized electric vehicles to specific
Oh.
markets. Diba? Parang mas malapit lang yung production facility. Now, the way we are to distribute our products and our services is through franchise. Kasi I want to involve as many Filipinos to be in this business with us. Let's say if you see the potential in Lycan, then you become a Lycan owner. Now you can sell, you can distribute, you can make money through selling and distributing our products and even putting battery station. And so it's really, I mean, if you look at the bigger picture, how we are partnering with small businesses para sa batteries, how we are doing franchising, inviting Filipinos to do business with us, how we are opening more jobs. If you see it in a bigger picture, because you can see that Lycan is really a company for the Philippines. It's a democratized, in a way, the democratized company. It's a social enterprise. It's a private social enterprise that is really for the Filipinos. Kasi Lycan is 100% Filipino, diba? So it's best na this company really belongs to Filipinos.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. So supportahan natin ang mga 100% Filipino startups like Lycan Motorcycles. So abangan pa natin yung launch and actually yung mass production pa ng mga models ng mga EVs ni Lycan Motorcycles. So maraming salamat, Jaggy. And by the way pala, if our listeners want to know more information about Lycan Motorcycles, or maybe they want to be a franchisor or they want to franchise, so how can they find more information? Maybe you can lead them to the website or maybe the socials of Lycan.
Sure. If you want to learn more about what we have, so you may visit our website at lycan.com.ph. And then if you want to also learn and see our latest updates, you can follow our Facebook page kasi yun ang mas updated. And then if you want to get in touch with me directly, you can email me at jg, that's Jaggy at lycan.com.ph. So jg at lycan.com.ph.
Ayun. So, thank you very much, Jaggy. This is actually a very exciting conversation about the EV space and about how you're building a 100% Filipino motorcycle or actually vehicle manufacturing and distribution company. So, personally, ang dami kong na-realize, ang dami kong natutunan, and I hope our listeners do too. So, maraming salamat, Jaggy, for this episode. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day, Jack.
Thank you very much to our 45 patrons. This episode is super powered by AskLexPH Academy, our official e-learning partner. Get certifications on Lean Six Sigma, project management, data science, and more. ROC.ph, our creative marketing partner. Get unlimited digital marketing services monthly. 1 CFO services, bookkeeping and tax and payroll processing for startups and small businesses. Tuala, privacy-focused digital experience for sharing identity information across Web 2 and Web 3 ecosystems. And Space PH, global co-working space, private office, and meeting rooms for startups, digital nomads, and freelancers. Ignite Careers, career matching platform for Filipino talents and hiring companies in the outsourcing industry. Mamiki Super Pet App, the Philippines' first ever one-stop mobile app for pet products and services. Mata Technologies, Philippines' premier provider of virtual tours and maps for LGU's real estate, tourism, and private businesses. MarketMind Local, a digital marketing company focused in helping small and medium businesses. Smile, consent-driven digital employment verification service to make smarter decisions faster. UBI Philippines, advocating universal basic income for Filipinos. BV Code Technologies, IT solutions specializing in software development, blockchain smart contracts, digital wallets, and cybersecurity. The Buzz Web3 microblogging app promoting freedom of speech and content ownership. Looking for buy and sell online with Sigurado sellers. NutriCoach, personalized nutrition and weight loss programs for you. Benjoy's food products, the home of premium bacon ends, Tapa, and Tocino. This episode is powered by Contact RFID business cards, Jur.ph, Big Giant Games, Founders Launchpad, Packetworx, Uplift Code Camp, Pareto Consulting, Agile Data Solutions, Hassle.ph, Board Prep, Zayls, SeriousMD. Please support the podcast through the links in the description.